Welcome to DADvocate, all about working for the good of others. I'm Greg Walton.
And I'm Jessie, the oldest of Greg's kids. My pronouns are they, them.
And we hope to unite folks from different belief structures and cultures, something we know a bit about because I'm Catholic.
And I'm a pagan. We invite you to come along with us as we explore our shared focus on the value of solidarity, of being one human family in all our differences, and the belief that each of us has the ability to be a unique gift to the world around us.
So the views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent. And today we got two great special guests with us. We were in Italy, and it was an amazing trip. A little background on this trip. It's a pilgrimage that I organized for a group called Always God's Children. It is a ministry in Nashville, Tennessee that I initiated, the work of Nashville area Catholics that provides an emotionally safe space for LGBTQIA plus people and those who love them to pray, be real, and belong. We were going from Milan to Rome. While we were there, we had some really great power couples with us, and one of those couples is Christin Baker and Stacey Powell with Tello Films.
Yes.
Yeah, and Jesse, I'll let you say a little bit more about them because you like to follow their show.
Yeah, actually, you got me into it, and I was shocked. I was like, what do you mean there's Netflix for lesbians? And my favorite bits on their platform, which is it older than Netflix?
It's the longest running next to Netflix, so like 18
awesome.
Years. Yeah.
Amazing. But I really enjoy Stacey and Christin's show, the Lez Go Travel Show. So getting to see that kind of play out in person, being on a trip with them, was really surreal and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And then now my favorite ongoing bit is that they do Hallmark-style Christmas movies every year. And they really do pump them out. But yeah, you and I got to go to the Christmas Writer premiere, and that was really special.
Yeah. And this podcast will be out while it's still officially the Christmas season, because it's 12 days of Christmas. So
They, I believe, had a New Year's one coming out, too, that kind of looks like Love Actually for the queers.
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay. Yeah, so Christmas Writer came out just this past December, and we got to enjoy that and a screening of it. But Tello Films, again, is a streaming service, kind of like you just said, the Hallmark channel for lesbians. And it's really great entertainment and pretty wholesome.
Yeah, everything exists in a universe where the coming out and the accepting of the queerness is a given, because so many movies about us focus so much on just the identity aspect. And in this world, that's already happened, and you can just focus on the love story or the mystery or whatever's happening.
Yeah. So we were interviewing on the road in the back of our bus.
Yes.
Between destinations, so there's a little bit of road noise, and I have to make an apology. My mic is a little bit crunchy. I didn't have the gain set quite right, but
we couldn't pass up that opportunity. We had everybody in one place.
Yeah, so it's awesome. So here's our interview with Christin Baker and Stacey Powell, Tello Films.
We've got Stacey.
What?
Got Stacey and Christin from the Tello show. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, the Lez Go Travel Show. But you guys have your origin story in Always God's Children, and this trip is Always God's Children. So tell us the story of how you all met, through AGC.
Goodness.
Well, I know, I would love to say we met at AGC, but we did not.
I know.
We actually met at a bar, at a concert, and I had invited Stacey because I was trying to support as many LGBTQ musicians in Nashville as possible, and they were having a showcase at a place called Analog. And so I was trying to round up a bunch of lesbians to come out and support. And I had never met Stacey or her friend Brooke, who she came with. But I had reached out to them because I found them on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I'm getting a group of like lesbians to come support, my friend. Do you if you want to come, it's going to be really great. And Gina, who is also part of AGC, Gina Veneer, was playing. Yeah. And Stacey was like, oh, I love Gina Veneer. And so she thought about coming and came to the show. And I was like, Gina came up, or Haley, her girlfriend, came up and said, oh, you're at AGC to Stacey. And I said, no. And Stacey was like, yeah, I've been there before.
I'm like, yes, I am.
And we were like, wait, what?
And that's when we figured it out, that we had both been attending the meetings.
Yeah.
But never at the same
time. But independently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was almost like a spark, I think, in both of us, where we were like, there was like all of a sudden, just because we had been to that meeting at different times, it was like there was a connection that was so much deeper than I think we ever could have imagined in that one moment of recognition. And then I was like, this is my future wife.
I love that story. It reminds me of how Mom and Dad met, because they actually were both in the school chapel choir at U of I, but they attended different masses, different times. So it was actually a mutual friend who sang at both mass times who said to Mom, have you met Greg?
Yeah, and then I told her I was going on this retreat thing, and she hugged me, and I was like, whoa, what was that? I just kind of had that feeling kind of thing, that connection. You're like, wow.
I felt it right then.
That was cool. Yeah, and I had a great thought about what you just said about. So what this really brings to the table is you've written about like finding your person. Mm-hmm. Both of you have come out with a book. What's right? You wrote together.
We wrote it together.
Yeah.
It's a journal on finding your soulmate.
Yeah, and what you shared with me, that was it's so hard to find a person that you can share that thread of faith with, or finding somebody who, it just happens to be a lesbian, also happens to be Catholic, and also like really into like the chances, the odds, right?
The Venn diagram it's a very small little circle,
right?
that you find.
Yeah, and what I love about this too is that people seem to separate, LGBTQ from spirituality, but here it was your spirituality that brought you together. I think it's such an important point.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say, I could use that book because I'm coming out of a divorce myself. So any tips?
It's available on Amazon. I wish we had brought a copy with us. We could have given it to you, but we left them at home, not thinking. So yeah, but it's, I think we really combine our, spiritual belief system, because it comes also from our families. Like Stacey's grandmother was incredible woman of faith, Catholic woman of faith. My grandmother, my parents are like incredible people of faith. And so if you try and ignore, I think, that part of you, or deny it, especially if it speaks to you, I think that it's much more difficult, I think, to deny something that has come from such a deep lineage. And
that's true. And I personally am not in the church anymore, but it is a huge part of my past. So maybe finding someone who has also been on a similar journey, just so they understand, the trauma and the deconstruction of it all. But also that parts of it are still important to me. I'm here on this trip. It's part of my history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I do want to mention one other cute little story. So we met in April, the story we were just telling y'all, but we were just friends at first. Yes. We were friends. And it wasn't until June, that following June.
I know what's happening. I know what's coming. You go ahead.
And it was the Franklin Pride Festival. And I had
Always God's Children was doing a booth.
Yes, and I had told Greg I was going to volunteer at the booth, and I knew Christin was going to be volunteering at the booth as well.
And you're both totally useless to me.
We were completely useless at the booth.
We were flirting so bad
the whole time.
Like, Greg was like standing there, and I just knew you were like probably like, what? These two women are like so flirting with each other right now. What is going on?
It was great.
And now here we are.
Was it the classic one of you asked the other one out and you say, I thought we already were?
No.
We didn't do that.
We didn't do that. No. We planned a date. Well, Stacey sent me this really big, long, confusing text about. I do bring that up because I was trying to deconstruct it and understand what in the world she was saying.
Well, we love someone who communicates their feelings from the get-go.
Yeah, and so so I kept showing it to people and I was like, what do you think this means? I don't understand what she's saying. And one person was like, she's saying I think she might and it was this whole thing around Stacey is a late life lesbian, but it was a lot of it was I really am trying to figure out what my type is, and I thought it was really femme, but maybe not anymore. And I'm like, I don't understand. And someone's like, that means she might be attracted to you, you idiot. And I was like,
she thinks you're butch and she's interested.
For you. That's what I was trying to say.
She said it in a weird way, though.
I didn't know what I was doing flirting with women. I was trying, okay?
Yeah. So you mentioned a term, and some folks may not know what late life lesbian means. So would you kind of give us the...
Yeah, because I'm 31, so am I late in life, or is it okay?
Yeah, so we always say, if you were in a relationship with a man, no matter what age you are, you could be 22, 23. I mean, if you spent most of your life dating boys or being in a relationship with a man.
Yeah. And thinking in very heteronormative ways. Yes. I think that's part of it. That's it's so ingrained in most people to just go the heteronormative route because they just haven't really even thought about any other route. Or if they have, they pushed it to the side. And so it's you're living this heteronormative life. I get married to a man, I have kids, I get a white picket fence house, and, and we have 2.5 kids and a dog and maybe a cat. And so I think and then all of a sudden it shakes your foundation, whether or not you identify as bi or pan or whatever. Yeah. But it's that, I have other choices.
Yeah, one term that's been coming up a lot in my friend groups is comphet, compulsive heterosexuality.
Yes. Yep.
And that realization that my attraction to women was there from the start, but I didn't have the tools or the language to even recognize it. Yeah. That just wasn't even an option in my world.
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
That's it. Yeah. And so that's where... Yeah, so Stacey has 3 kids. She was married to a man for how many years?
23 years.
Yeah.
When I met my ex-spouse, they identified as male. And I came out as bi shortly after we started dating. And we both knew we were both queer of some flavor. But it took many years, and then she eventually transitioned. So around the time that she came out as a trans woman, I also realized I had deconstructed my attraction to men, and I was like, actually, I think I have a very strong preference for only women. Mm-hmm. So at the time, we were like, well, it works out. But the relationship had other issues. So now here I am, single for the first time in almost 13 years, and no idea how to flirt with women because I didn't know that's who I was before I got in this relationship.
And so the book, I don't know if we mentioned the title of it. It's about dropping, what was it?
Yeah.
Get off the dating apps. Yeah.
Journal to find your soulmate.
Yeah. So it's reflecting, you have different reflection questions. And
yeah. Some of it is kind of stories with, Stacey has a story that I'll let her tell, but you don't have to necessarily do anything in the journal.
Oh, okay.
Tell about the music.
Yeah. So one of the things I did was I found songs on Spotify and made a playlist titled Future Wife.
I love a themed Spotify list.
Yeah.
And I would listen to the songs, and while I listened to the songs, I would imagine what it would be like once I met my soulmate.
Yes.
And the things we would do, and I would listen to it when I took a bath or when I walked, or and use that as a meditation.
Okay, recommendation then. Emergency Contact by Karuk.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Okay. Noted.
I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking for a wife.
Oh, yes.
Did you hear that?
I love it.
Dang.
Oh, that would have been such a good one. Okay.
Yeah, it's hereditary. It's hereditary.
Yeah.
So, cool. And
I love that we've gotten kind of into performing arts because, Christin, this ties into your career.
Yes.
And you're a director.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us about Tello Films.
Sure. So Tello Films is basically like the lesbian Netflix. We're the longest running LGBTQ streaming platform. It's been around for 18 years. We have a mix of like licensed material that, you can find that's been out in the world. And then it also has original content that is original to the site that I wrote some of them. I produced all of them and directed a good number. And it's really, it's really about having a space for people who want to see lesbian stories, their lives reflected in media and entertainment. And we have features, series, and short films. And that's where you can find Stacey and I's travel show, Lez Go Travel Show.
Yeah, so this grew into a travel show. Like, how did that happen? Like, you just were going places together, and you're like, let's do a show. Let's document this, or what?
We were in the beginning of when we started dating, we were traveling quite a bit, and Christin came up with the idea. I think you were trying to do a dating show at the time.
Originally, I was doing a dating show, but then I was like, And then I fell in love with Stacey, and I was like, let's just travel around together and have a tax write-off. And
See, that's kind of scary to me that early in a relationship, because I don't know, maybe it's when dating men, it's like, I don't know if you're safe enough to go on vacation with right away.
Well, she asked me to go to Manchester like about 4 weeks after we started dating.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think 4 days. 4 days after we started dating, I said, let's go. Do you want to go to Manchester with me in 4 weeks?
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, Nashville to Manchester is not that far. Or was it Manchester, UK?
No.
Manchester, UK.
Oh.
Yeah, no, this was not Manchester, Tennessee. We gotta, clarify.
I was thinking, Bonnaroo, yeah.
But everyone did keep saying what you were saying. They were like, what? You're going to go with her to the UK? Like, you've only been dating 1 month. Like, what if, you're terrible traveling together? I know.
It's like, listen, this way I get a crash course in all her annoying habits. Just be thankful we're not U-hauling.
Exactly.
We traveled, obviously, clearly, very well together. So here we are now with the travel
That's
show.
great.
But
My introduction to you guys is, last year when I was starting to have some marriage troubles, I came to stay at mom and dad's. And one of the things that cheered me up was they were like, you've got to watch Lez Go. You've got to watch Lez Go. It'll make you so happy and believe in love again. And so I binged your series, and you guys kept me company last October.
So
As I told you, I loved the Salem episode.
Yeah.
we had a great time in Salem.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that it resonated and you enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, if we don't have fun making it, then it's not going to be, no one's going to have fun watching it. And so I think that's the fun thing, is we have a lot of fun together, and we're very, very cognizant also of safe spaces, not just for women, but for lesbians. And that's very important to us. And then lifting up members of the community.
Yeah, so that's something you do on the show, is you go into different LGBTQ communities and you highlight business owners and what folks are doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of been word of mouth, so people know about the show now, and they'll be like, oh, well, we have this friend who owns this place, and would you be willing to go out there and interview them? We're like, sure, yeah. So it's kind of just been like that.
Yeah.
And it's just been an incredible experience.
Yeah. And also, I think for us, one of the shows too that was really interesting for me was going to Tallahassee, Florida, because there's a lesbian, or I think it's a queer-owned bookstore. It's owned by someone who identifies as a lesbian. And then two of the people that we chatted with were trans, a trans man and a trans woman who are a couple. And it's really difficult right now to be out in Florida, and especially to be trans. So I think one of the things that, and this is my philosophy, and I do not want to push it on someone else, but definitely as someone who's grown up and lives in Tennessee, I understand our tax dollars our dollars speak to our priorities. And there are some cases where a gay couple or a member of the community either doesn't want to move or can't move. but they still want to be in their community and be unapologetically part of the LGBT community. And I think it is important to go there and support them.
And we've always been here.
We've always been here. We've always been around. Some people, it's great that someone like Rosie O'Donnell can move to Ireland or England or wherever to be safe. Like Rosie has deep pockets. Not everyone can move to a safer space. So the best thing to do is for the community to rally around that person and support them in any way that you can. Just because you can be in a safe space doesn't mean everyone can. And I think it's important that we live and are able to live unapologetically in the community that we are in. And so that's why we went to Tallahassee, and we put that in there. I was like, you know what? I know Florida's not a safe space right now, and I know you don't want to go there because you don't want your tax dollars to go to, that government. But there are people that live there that you can support if you're incredibly intentional. And that's one of the things I want to get across with Lez Go as well.
And that's so important for people who might be watching your show, or for people who are local to where you visit. Because, like on the show We're Here, people go to these little rural southern towns, and people don't know there's already a gay bar nearby. So a lot of it's word of mouth, even to our own community. Absolutely. Of just like, you are safe here, you're not the only one.
Yep. Yes. Amen.
Yeah, and we had an interesting conversation about the different ways that you can advocate. So the title of the show is DADvocate, but it's not necessarily being out in the street with a sign. And what I love about what you guys do, your advocacy is about accompaniment. I mean, you accompany Jesse, in a difficult time through your show, because it's just entertainment. It gives them a space where they're seeing folks like themselves, right? And this sense of belonging and identity. Yeah, I speak to that some more.
Well, someone wrote one of my movies, I think it was Christmas at the Ranch maybe, and someone did a review of it and said, it was like, I am able to create a world through my entertainment, through movies, that doesn't always exist. A small town that uses the correct pronouns, that no one needs to be unapologetic or apologetic about being out. They just accept you. And I've always created movies that there's the drama isn't in the family dynamic of being gay. The drama is in the love drama, which there's plenty of love drama to go around.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've gotten a couple Hallmark or Netflix movies that are like, it's a queer couple, but then the whole story is about them being queer and unaccepted, and it's like, can we move past that part?
Totally.
I've seen this story already.
We've seen the coming out stories, and they are important. And I don't want to minimize that. That is an important part of our history about how we are as what's what was important for kind of that. Like, we could all ask one another, what's your coming out story? And we will each have like some story to tell of when we realized we were, part of the community. But there's only so much of that you just always want to ingest. And so, I have this like almost like radical normativity, where it's like, it is just normal that you are attracted to someone of the same, gender or, or fluid or non-binary. That's not what the drama is. And so that almost like that radical normativity is that's my advocacy. I want to put out into the world what I want the world to be like. And I want someone to watch that and feel like they are comforted, that they are seen, that they're in a safe space. And that's the advocacy that I choose, and that Stacey and I choose when we go places, is to be ourselves, to be unapologetically ourselves. And we have found that will change hearts and minds in a very subtle, different way and I think it's important to march. I think it's important to make signs. I think it's important to get out there.
With a sign every now and then.
But also just being yourself in your community and not hiding who you are and not changing the pronoun of the person that you're with or using they, them when when you're,
When you don't
you know,
know.
when I'm talking to my parents, and I have a friend who identifies as non-binary, I use they them, and it might confuse my mom for a second, but she'll catch up, or
Right.
I'll help her, and that's that is advocacy, in my opinion.
Absolutely. It's just
So-
normalizing it.
Yeah.
We're,
Exactly.
we're here, we're queer, we're on vacation.
Yeah.
Or on a pilgrimage in this case.
And we have breakups, and we have misunderstandings, and we have, you know.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that, David?
No, I mean, you said it perfectly. I don't know what else I would say. That's beautiful.
Well,
beautiful.
I'm excited for the new movie coming out that Stacey's in.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
What's it called?
The Christmas Writer,
Yep.
and it's coming out soon. I played Jillian. I'm sort of like the villain in the movie.
Ooh.
So that was fun.
Are you the editor of the main character?
Yeah.
So you're the one
agent.
pushing her.
The
You
agent.
have to
Agent.
come up with a new story.
Mhm.
Nice. You know, and talking about, you know, gosh, I've seen Your Faith come out, and one of the pieces, and I'm so sorry I don't remember the title, but it was the detective series that you did.
Riley Para.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and I saw aspects of faith, right?
100%.
There's, you know, she's kind of given this divine mission as this police detective, and you know, there's angels, and there's just this great conversation with the priest.
Beautiful
you know,
conversation.
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
priest, yeah.
I didn't know about that one. I love a detective procedural.
Oh yeah, no, definitely Riley Para. There's season 1 and season 2, and then there's we also turned it into a movie. So it just depends on how you want to.
And this is on Tello?
It's on Tello.
Great.
Yep.
was it a web series first? Because I think
It
they're
was a
little
web
10-minute.
series first.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
yeah. Then we cut it together as a movie, and you know, it's and the movie's actually in quite a few different spaces. But yeah, it's kind of like and there's actually in season 2 there's this incredible conversation that Riley has with her guardian angel in front of her, and she's like yelling at her. She was like, where were you when I was being hurt, when this was happening? And the angel's like, I was right there with you. And
Kind of reminds me of that one scene in The Last Unicorn. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've not seen that
That's one
movie.
Ava would see. It was
Yeah.
scary, right?
Oh no, that's
That's your daughter, Ava?
Yeah. Ava.
Oh, cool.
The Last Unicorn is an animated movie
Oh,
from
that's
like
not
the
what I'm thinking
90s,
of.
Yeah.
maybe even late 80s. But the unicorn is like the symbol of innocence, right? And there's this older woman who finds the unicorn, and she's like, I waited for you my entire childhood. Where were you then? Why did you have to find me now when I'm this? And she means like old and past her prime. And it's like, maybe we were always deserving of the unicorn, and you're just as deserving now as you were then. You have to believe in yourself.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I am cognizant that in storytelling that a lot of people in the community have trauma around religion, and so you really do. And so I am very aware that can be part of someone's story, and so I do think of how to weave that in a subtle way, so that that doesn't cause someone to turn away from the overarching like message of the story,
Yeah.
or what we're trying to say and get across. And so we just want to be as cognizant as possible that not everyone has had a good experience with organized religion, but there are so many wonderful messages and things that you can weave into that story that has that aspect of it, or come from Christianity, but you don't have to name it that necessarily.
Yeah. I think something that happens a lot in my community of friends, because I have a lot of friends who have also left the church, or the church left them. And I think more so than kind of tiptoeing around it when Christianity comes up, because sometimes I do get the like, oh, sorry, Jesse, and it's like, no, it was a part of my story too. I'd rather somebody acknowledge that I did grow up in the church and that I do know what you're talking about. But and also that, you know, there are painful memories there. But it's both, you know. And I think more queer Christians want people to know that we exist, for one. Or not we, because I'm not, but you know what I mean.
One of the things, though, I was really beautiful for me, having you be a part of Voice God's Children, that I learned, and also from Gina. You mentioned Gina Veneer. She's a singer-songwriter, because she shared the same thing with me. Gina hasn't had a lot of church-related trauma. I mean, one of the reasons she's in the church, she loves it, and she's had a positive experience there. And Christin, I think you had a similar experience with your folks. Am I right? You know, in terms of growing up in your family, being a Catholic family, but being queer was not a problematic thing in your family at the same time.
No, I mean, it took, you know, when I first came out, it did take my mom a little while to, I think, understand that, you know, it wasn't her fault. Like, I think for her, that was kind of her coming out story, is like, oh, my child is gay, but it's not because of me. And I think that was like,
my mom had a similar reaction.
Yeah, so I think that was part of my mom's piece of it. And once she kind of moved past it, but there was never any like religious shame around it or anything like that. Like, I never didn't think God, like, in my coming out, I was more worried about like my parents and, you know, different people who I knew than I ever was God or Jesus not loving me. That's never ever been a thought in my mind, and I've never had a thought like, oh, I'm going to go to hell. Now, Stacey did. That's part of your story, is that you thought you were going to hell, but that wasn't part of mine. And I do find very lucky, and I almost do think I probably have a very simplistic childlike view where I'm like, God loves everyone and Jesus loves everyone, period. Like, there's no and or but after that sentence. And so it never even occurred to me that I could be like going to hell for being gay.
And I think for parents, you know, it's interesting because we run into the situation of people judging us. They're like, well, what'd you do wrong? Mm-hmm. Right? So your mom's reaction is probably related to that kind of thing, you know. And one of the things that I talk about that would happen to me often is, you know, talk about having queer kids, and they're like, oh, well, we all have our crosses. And I have to then say, you know, my cross is not having queer kids. You know, my children are gifts, and my cross is having to explain that to people. You know, that's the thing. But I'll say this: you guys are such a gift. I'm so glad to have you on this trip with us. Have you part of Always God's Children, and the mission that you're all doing. And thanks for being a guest on DADvocate.
Woo! Well, we're grateful you're doing this.
We are so grateful for this opportunity to share our stories with y'all.
It's so nice to get to meet you guys officially in person and hear more about the projects you're working on.
Yep. So we've been talking with Christin Baker and Stacey Powell. And again, your book, tell us about the book on Amazon.
And off the dating app, Journal to Find Your Soulmate.
Right. And then also we'll look for the release of
Christmas Writer.
Christmas Writer. Yeah.
Yes. That'll be on Tello Films.
It's going to be on Tello Films.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Check it out.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to DADvocate with Greg
And Jesse.
DADvocate is produced by the two of us.
Our theme song is written by Dad.
Produced by Britt Edwards with tasty guitar licks by Delana Nova Scott.
Thanks for listening.
And let somebody in your life know that you
Love them.
Yeah. All right.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too, Jess.